There is a town in America named after the man who invented steel, and it has one of the highest violent crime rates in the entire country. There is a town in New Jersey founded by Quakers in 1675, where your chance of being a victim of violent crime is 1 in 42. Small town America is supposed to be safe, right? But what the postcards will not show you is the other side, where a single factory closure turned Main Street into a cautionary tale. Every state has one. Number 1 might be yours. Let us get into it. Number 50, Wahiawa, population 17,800, violent crime rate roughly 2 per 1,000, below the national average but among Hawaii's highest. Adjacent to Schofield Barracks, one of the largest army installations in the Pacific. The original Dole Plantation is here. Methamphetamine, locally called ice, drives most arrests. Median household income $72,000, well below Honolulu County's $96,000. Even Paradise has a worse block. In Wahiawa, it smells like pineapple and booking sheets. Number 49, Burley, population 11,495. Violent crime rate is roughly 3 to 4 per 1,000, modest nationally but elevated for Idaho. Located on the I-84 corridor in the Magic Valley, surrounded by sugar beet fields and potato processing plants. Meth trafficking runs the interstate like a second highway. Every June, the town hosts the Idaho Regatta, one of the largest inland hydroplane boat races in the western United States. Median household income $50,000. The boats are loud. The crime stats are louder. Number 48, Berlin, population 9,425. Property crime rate is 18 per 1,000, high for the safest state in America. The Fraser Papers pulp mill closed in 2006 and took the local economy with it. Berlin's largest employers are now a federal prison and a state correctional facility. Once called the paper city of the world, the population peaked at over 20,000. Today, the paper is gone and the prisons are full. Median household income $45,000, the lowest of any city in New Hampshire. Number 47, Price, population 8,300. Violent crime is roughly 1 per 1,000, low nationally but relatively high for Utah. Carbon County's coal mines at Castle Gate and Sunnyside have closed one after another. Price is the only town in Utah where Greek, Italian, and Slavic immigrant coal mining communities settled in large numbers, making it the most ethnically diverse small town in the state by a wide margin. 9 Mile Canyon, with its Fremont rock art, is just east. Poverty 17%. Number 46, Rutland, population 15,807. The violent crime rate is roughly 5 per 1,000. In January 2014, Governor Peter Shumlin devoted his entire State of the State address, roughly 34 minutes, exclusively to Vermont's opioid crisis. Rutland was cited as the worst affected city. Once called the Marble City, the marble for the U.S. Supreme Court building was quarried nearby. Today, heroin and fentanyl define the headlines more than marble does. Poverty 14%. The gateway to Killington Ski Resort shares a zip code with a heroin epidemic. Number 45, Rumford, population 5,858. Violent crime rate is roughly 2 per 1,000, modest nationally but high for Maine. The Oxford paper mill has been in steady decline for decades. The town once had the highest HIV and AIDS rate in the state, linked to intravenous drug use. Birthplace of Senator Edmund Muskie, Secretary of State under Jimmy Carter. Pennacook Falls runs through the center of town. Median household income $45,000, 96% white. The opioid crisis does not check demographics. Number 44, Riverton, population 10,924. Violent crime rate is roughly 7 per 1,000, the highest in Wyoming. Property crime 1 in 26. Riverton sits inside the boundaries of the Wind River Indian Reservation, but is legally not part of it, creating one of the messiest jurisdictional gaps in U.S. policing. Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho tribal police, county deputies, and city officers all overlap, with nobody fully in charge. Site of the 1838 fur trade rendezvous, the last of the Mountain Man gatherings. The jurisdiction problem has not been fixed since. Number 43, Hardin, population 3,677, adjacent to the Crow Indian Reservation, poverty 30%, median household income $33,000. In 2009, Hardin tried to lease its empty $27 million detention facility to a private security firm called American Police Force. The CEO turned out to be a wanted fraudster who showed up in a black Mercedes-Benz with fake badges. The facility has never housed a single inmate. The 2020 disappearance and death of Selena Not Afraid became one of the highest profile missing and murdered Indigenous women cases in the country. Number 42, Devil's Lake, population 7,192. The violent crime rate is roughly 5 per 1,000. Property crime 40 per 1,000. Adjacent to the Spirit Lake Sioux Reservation, which has been the subject of multiple federal child welfare investigations. The Dakota called the lake Minnewakan, meaning spirit water. 19th century settlers mistranslated it as Devil's Lake. Meth drives most arrests. Poverty 14%. Median household income $43,000. They got the name wrong and never fixed it. The crime stats followed the same pattern. Number 41, South Sioux City, population 13,801. The property crime rate is 26 per 1,000. The Tyson Fresh Meats beef plant is the dominant employer, and the town is a major immigrant labor destination. Meth distribution runs the I-29 corridor. Here's the geographic joke. South Sioux City is in Nebraska. Sioux City is across the Missouri River in Iowa. North Sioux City is across the Big Sioux River in South Dakota. 3 Sioux cities, 3 states, 1 metro area. Nobody planned this. Number 40, Winnemucca, population 8,431. Violent crime rate is roughly 7 per 1,000. Median household income $66,000. Unusually high for this list because Nevada gold mines and Newmont pay well. But the transient mining workforce also brings assault, meth, and legal brothels operating openly. On September 19, 1900, Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch robbed the First National Bank here and escaped with $32,640. The town has not shaken the outlaw reputation or the outlaw economics. Number 39, Marinette, population 10,505. Property crime rate 22 per 1,000. Tyco Fire Products manufactured firefighting foam here for decades. The resulting PFAS forever chemical contamination has devastated local water and property values. But here is the plot twist. Marinette is also home to Fincantieri Marinette Marine, the only U.S. shipyard currently building the Constellation-class frigate for the U.S. Navy, a small Wisconsin town simultaneously building warships and poisoning its own drinking water. That should not be possible, but it is. Number 38, Ottumwa, population roughly 25,500. Property crime rate 26 per 1,000. Long called Meth Central of Iowa by state law enforcement. The JBS pork plant dominates the local labor market. Ottumwa is the real-world hometown of Tom Arnold and the fictional hometown of Corporal Radar O'Reilly on MASH. Poverty 19%. Median household income $42,000. The town that gave America a sitcom character defined by wholesome innocence is also the town Iowa police defined by methamphetamine. Number 37, Coffeyville, population 8,826. Violent crime rate roughly 5 per 1,000. Property crime 26 per 1,000. On October 5th, 1892, the Dalton gang rode into Coffeyville and tried to rob 2 banks simultaneously. The townspeople shot them in the street. 4 outlaws and 4 citizens died. It remains the only time a single American town defeated a bank-robbing gang in a head-on gunfight. Today, meth runs the I-44 corridor. The refinery still operates. The Dalton Defenders Museum still charges admission. The irony still writes itself. Number 36, Alamosa, population 9,906. Violent crime rate roughly 10 per 1,000, about 2.6 times the national average. Murder rate approximately 50 per 100,000 in a recent year, extraordinarily high for a town this size. Poverty 25%. The Washington Post identified Alamosa County as one of the most prescribed opioid counties in America during the OxyContin boom, averaging 77 pills per person. The town is also the gateway to Great Sand Dunes National Park. The tallest sand dunes in North America are 35 miles away. The crisis is closer. Number 35, New London, population roughly 27,000, violent crime rate roughly 16.5 per 1,000. On the Interstate 95 fentanyl corridor between Boston and New York, childhood home of Eugene O'Neill, America's only Nobel Prize-winning playwright, also home to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, a city that is simultaneously a literary landmark, a military academy town, and a fentanyl distribution hub. Poverty rate roughly 23%. The Coast Guard trains officers to protect America's borders. The fentanyl crosses anyway. Number 34, Seaford, population 8,952. Violent crime rate is roughly 11 per 1,000. Property crime 46 per 1,000. Once called the nylon capital of the world because DuPont opened the world's first commercial nylon plant here in 1939. The plant is now operated by Invista at a fraction of its historical employment. The Delmarva Peninsula opioid corridor runs right through town. Poverty 20%. Median household income $45,000. A town that invented the future of synthetic fabric now has a present defined by synthetic opioids. Number 33, Cambridge, population 13,262. Violent crime rate is roughly 6 per 1,000. Property crime 32 per 1,000. Birthplace of Harriet Tubman, the Underground Railroad Visitor Center is nearby. Also the site of the 1967 Cambridge race riots when the governor called in the National Guard. A deep economic divide separates the waterfront wealth from the predominantly black West End. Poverty 24%. Median household income $39,000. The town where Harriet Tubman was born still has not closed the gap she spent her life fighting. Number 32, Marion, population roughly 27,000. The violent crime rate is roughly 4 per 1,000. The devastating loss of GM, RCA, and Thompson factories dropped the population from over 40,000 to under 28,000. Birthplace of James Dean, who is buried in nearby Fairmount. Also the location of the 1930 Thomas Shipp and Abram Smith lynching photograph, the image that inspired the protest song Strange Fruit. Poverty 22%. Marion's annual Christmas City Lights display is one of the largest in the Midwest. The town decorates around its scars. Number 31, Chillicothe. Population roughly 21,750. Property crime rate is 65 per 1,000. Ross County's overdose rate is among Ohio's highest. Methamphetamine and fentanyl define the crime blotter. Chillicothe was the first capital of Ohio from 1803 to 1810. It is also the location of Hopewell Culture National Historical Park. Earthwork mounds built between 200 BCE and 500 CE. The first state capitol sits next to 2,000-year-old ceremonial mounds and a 21st century fentanyl crisis. All three facts occupy the same zip code. If these towns are making you rethink everything you thought you knew about small town America, hit like. Subscribe because the top 30 get even worse. Number 30, Idabel, population 6,962. Property crime rate roughly 34 per 1,000, among the highest in Oklahoma. Remote southeastern Oklahoma, locally called Little Dixie. Poverty 28%. In 2023, an audio recording surfaced of McCurtain County officials, including the sheriff, discussing killing local reporters and lamenting that they could not lynch black residents anymore. The recording made national news and prompted resignations. Median household income $33,000. Among the poorest counties in America, the tape proved what the poverty already suggested. Number 29, Ontario, population 11,645. Violent crime rate is roughly 7 per 1,000. Property crime 40 per 1,000, 1 in 25. On the Idaho border along Interstate 84, a major drug corridor between the Pacific Northwest and the Mountain West. Ontario was also the relocation destination for several thousand Japanese Americans released from World War II internment camps, and has the largest Japanese American population in eastern Oregon. It was also the first Oregon city east of the Cascades to allow recreational marijuana sales, making it a destination for Idahoans. Poverty 22%. Number 28, Bemidji. Population 15,287. Violent crime rate is roughly 6.5 per 1,000. Property crime 78 per 1,000. Extraordinarily high for a city this size. Adjacent to Red Lake and Leech Lake Indian reservations with significant jurisdictional gaps. Bills itself as the first city on the Mississippi because the river begins 30 miles north at Lake Itasca. Home of the giant Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox statues built in 1937. Meth and alcohol-related violence define the crime mix. The postcard and the police blotter exist on the same block. Number 27, Harlan. Population 1,745. Harlan County has Kentucky's highest opioid overdose death rate and one of the highest in the United States. Total collapse of underground coal mining. Median household income roughly $30,000. Poverty exceeds 30%. Known as Bloody Harlan, site of the 1931 to 1939 coal mine wars, knee of the bloodiest labor disputes in American history. The inspiration for the FX series Justified. 93% white, the opioid crisis hit coal country harder than any demographic line could predict. Number 26, Dyersburg. Population 16,164. Violent crime rate roughly 13 per 1,000, 1 in 80. Property crime 48 per 1,000, 1 in 21. West Tennessee Cotton and Delta Town on the opioid corridor between Memphis and St. Louis. Meth and fentanyl distribution drive most arrests. A 2023 EF3 tornado caused significant additional economic damage. Poverty 22%. Median household income $41,000. The storm came through once. The drugs never left. Number 25, Hopewell. Population 22,529. Violent crime rate roughly 6.4 per 1,000, 68% above the national average. Murder rate roughly 27 per 100,000, site of the 1975 Capone disaster. A pesticide manufacturing plant discharged so much Capone into the James River that Virginia banned fishing for 13 years. Considered one of the worst environmental disasters in U.S. history. DuPont, Honeywell, and Hercules Chemical legacies still define the town. Poverty 19%. They poisoned the river. The river remembers. Number 24, Central Falls. Population 22,583. Violent crime rate roughly 3 per 1,000. The smallest and most densely populated city in the United States at roughly 1.3 square miles with over 17,000 people per square mile. In 2011, it became the only city in Rhode Island history to file for bankruptcy. Poverty 29%, the state's highest. MS-13 and Latin Kings are documented gang presences. 65% Hispanic, including the largest Colombian and Cape Verdean communities in the state. Number 23. Cordell. Population 9,767. Violent crime rate roughly 11 per 1,000. Property crime 42 per 1,000. Self-proclaimed watermelon capital of the world, Crisp County is one of the poorest in Georgia. Poverty 35%. Median household income roughly $25,000 to $30,000. Gang activity and meth drive the crime blotter. Georgia Veterans State Park is the only state park in America built specifically to honor veterans. The watermelon capital has a median income below the federal poverty line for a family of 4. That is not a fun fact. Number 22, Red Bluff. Population 14,329. Violent crime rate is roughly 12.77 per 1,000. Highest per capita rate in California in 2024. Property crime 42.5 per 1,000. 1 in 23 victimized annually on the northern edge of the Sacramento Valley along Interstate 5. A corridor for drug trafficking hosts the Red Bluff Roundup, one of the oldest professional rodeos in America, running since 1921. Unemployment roughly 7%. Significant homeless population. The rodeo cowboys leave on Sunday. The meth stays all week. Number 21, Lumberton, population 18,882, violent crime rate 17 per 1,000, 1 in 59, property crime 101 per 1,000, 1 in 10 residents victimized annually for property crime alone. Meth and fentanyl trafficking on Interstate 95 defined the crime mix. Hurricane Matthew in 2016 and Hurricane Florence in 2018 devastated the local economy. Robeson County is one of the only triracial counties in America. Lumbee tribe, black and white populations each near a third. Poverty 29%. Number 20, Bastrop, population 9,792, violent crime rate roughly 9 per 1,000, property crime 50 per 1,000, 1 in 20. Second highest burglary rate in Louisiana. The International Paper Mill closed in 2008 and gutted the economy. Poverty 40%, median household income roughly $24,000. Hometown of actor John Goodman, a town where 4 in 10 residents live below the poverty line, and the most famous person who grew up there plays a fictional version of middle-class comfort on television. Number 19, Greenwood, population 14,119, violent crime rate roughly 14 per 1,000, property crime 80 per 1,000, former cotton capital of the world, mechanization devastated the agricultural labor economy, poverty 37%, median household income roughly $26,000. Most of the 2011 film The Help was shot here. Greenwood is also a major stop on the Mississippi Blues Trail. Robert Johnson, who allegedly sold his soul at the crossroads, is ride just outside town. The cotton left, the blues stayed, the poverty never moved. Number 18, Caruthersville, population 5,129, violent crime rate 12.28 per 1,000, property crime is 36.65 per 1,000, total crime nearly 49 per 1,000, placing it in the bottom 10th percentile for safety nationwide. A Boot Heel, Mississippi river town devastated by the 2011 flood and decades of cotton mechanization, poverty 30%, median income $25,000, home of the Century Casino, one of Missouri's few legal casinos, sitting in a town with a 30% poverty rate. The house always wins. The town never does. Number 17, Espanola, population 10,495, violent crime rate historically around 26 per 1,000, among the very highest in the nation for a town this size. Property crime 84 per 1,000. Rio Arriba County has long had one of the highest per capita overdose death rates in America. Generational heroin addiction in northern New Mexico's Hispanic villages drives the numbers. Self-proclaimed lowrider capital of the world, the New Mexico History Museum has dedicated entire exhibitions to the lowrider culture here. Poverty 25%, beautiful cars, devastating statistics. Number 16, Dillon, population 6,531, violent crime rate roughly 24 per 1,000, 1 in 42. Property crime 66 per 1,000. That violent crime rate is 592% above the national average. Youth gun violence and gang activity in the PD region after tobacco and farm collapse. Poverty 30%. Also home to south of the border, the kitschy Interstate 95 roadside attraction with the sombrero-wearing Pedro mascot, birthplace of former Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. The man who managed the 2008 financial crisis grew up in a town that never recovered from its own. Number 15, North Adams, population 12,492. Violent crime rate roughly 12 per 1,000, 1 in 84. Highest per capita in Massachusetts. Sprague Electric closed in 1985, and the city has hemorrhaged population and tax base ever since. Poverty 18%, roughly twice the state average. The shuttered Sprague Electric Plant was converted into Mass MoCA, the largest contemporary art museum in the United States. A poverty and fentanyl town and an internationally famous art destination occupy the same address. The fentanyl does not check the gallery hours. Number 14, Williamson, population 2,884. The DEA documented that 2 Williamson pharmacies received 20.8 million prescription opioid pills between 2006 and 2016 for a town of fewer than 3,000 people. That is roughly 7,000 pills per resident. Median household income $28,000. Poverty 30%. Williamson sits at the heart of Bloody Mingo, the county made famous by the Hatfield and McCoy feud. The DEA pill data was cited extensively in the book and series Dope Sick. The feud ended, the pills did not. Number 13, McKeesport, population 18,480. Violent crime rate is 16.93 per 1,000, the highest in Pennsylvania. Murder rate roughly 33 per 100,000. The closure of National Tube Works and U.S. Steel facilities collapsed the population from a peak of 55,000 in 1940 to under 19,000 today, a 66% decline. Poverty 28%, median household income $26,000. The 1978 film The Deer Hunter used McKeesport's industrial decline as its emotional backdrop. The backdrop never recovered. Number 12, Bethel, population 6,280. Violent crime rate 16.56 per 1,000, roughly 4.6 times the national average. 31 reported sexual assaults in 1 year for a town of 6,300. Alaska has the highest per capita sexual assault rate in America, and Bethel is the epicenter. There are no roads connecting Bethel to the rest of the state. You arrive by plane or boat. Isolation, alcohol abuse, and months of darkness and winter drive the numbers. 70% Yup-Ik, 400 miles from Anchorage. Number 11, Globe, population 7,249. Violent crime rate roughly 8 per 1,000. Total crime 254% above the national average. A copper mining town whose copper went away. Adjacent to the San Carlos Apache Reservation, which creates jurisdictional complications. The 1880s frontier town was so violent that the original sheriff was murdered on the job. Modern Globe's downtown is on the National Register of the Historic Places, 88 miles east of Phoenix. Poverty rate over 25%. The mines closed, the problem stayed open. Number 10, Donna, population 16,781. Violent crime rate is 17.57 per 1,000, the highest of any small Texas city in the 2024 FBI data. Property crime 43 per 1,000. Hidalgo County on the Mexican border in the Rio Grande Valley. Drug and human trafficking drive the numbers. Poverty 30%. Donna also sits along the Texas Tropical Trail, and roughly 1,000 birding tourists pass through annually for the World Birding Center. Border Patrol and ornithologists working the same town. The birds do not check passports. Number 9, Salem, population 5,297. Violent crime rate 24.4 per 1,000. Founded in 1675 by Quaker John Fenwick, the oldest English-speaking settlement on the Delaware River. Today, it is ranked the 5th most dangerous small town in America, despite a population under 6,000. Poverty rate 41%, the highest in New Jersey. Homes sell for as little as $115,000. 60% black. 40 miles from Philadelphia, a Quaker settlement with a 41% poverty rate. William Penn would not recognize it. Number 8, Herkimer, population 7,218. Violent crime rate 11.91 per 1,000. Property crime 84.51 per 1,000, the highest in New York State. The decline of the Remington Arms factory 15 miles away in Ilion gutted the regional economy. Site of the 2013 Herkimer shootings, a 6-victim spree that ended in a barbershop standoff. Also the location where Chester Gillette murdered Grace Brown in 1906. The case that inspired Theodore Dreiser's An American Tragedy. The town has been the setting for 2 American tragedies. One was fiction. Number 7. Mission population 1,156. Todd County poverty rate is 41 to 48%, among the poorest counties in America. On-reservation unemployment estimates run as high as 80%. The Rosebud Sioux tribe declared a state of emergency 3 times in 6 years, most recently May 2025, over meth, fentanyl, and gun violence. Only 12 Bureau of Indian Affairs officers patrol roughly 1 million acres. Largest town on the Rosebud Indian Reservation and home of Sintagleska University, the first tribal college accredited at the master's level. 12 officers, 1 million acres. Number 6. Belle Glade, population 17,363. Violent crime rate 13.1 per 1,000. Murder rate roughly 36 per 100,000. Aggravated assault rate of 1,163 per 100,000. Higher than most major U.S. cities, known as Muck City for its sugarcane fertile soil. Despite its 17,000 people, Belle Glade has produced an absurd number of NFL players, including Fred Taylor, Santonio Holmes, and Anquan Bolden. Poverty 30%. The town motto is "Her soil is her fortune." The soil grows sugar. The sugar funds scholarships. The scholarships are for football. The football is survival. Number 5. Benton Harbor, population 8,892. Violent crime rate 26.72 per 1,000, one of the highest in the United States for a town this size. Poverty 44%, median household income roughly $31,000. Directly across the St. Joseph River sits St. Joseph, a town that is 85% white with a median household income of $84,000, a 2.7 times wealth gap between 2 adjacent municipalities, one of the starkest economic divides in America. 2 towns, 1 river, 2 different countries. Number 4. West Memphis, population 23,617. Violent crime rate 19.22 per 1,000, about 5 times the national average. Murder rate roughly 72 per 100,000, among the highest of any town in America. Sits at the intersection of Interstate 40 and Interstate 55, a major drug corridor between Memphis and the Mississippi Delta. Home of the 1993 West Memphis 3 case. The murder of 3 children that became a national wrongful conviction cause. The subject of HBO's Paradise Lost trilogy. Poverty rate roughly 35%. The interstate brings everything through. None of it stays to help. Number 3. Aberdeen, population 17,013. Property crime 33 per 1,000. Total crime is roughly 66 per 1,000. Bottom 5% nationally. Total collapse of the Grays Harbor timber and logging industry in the 1980s and 1990s. Poverty 22%. Birthplace and childhood home of Kurt Cobain. A "Come As You Are" sign welcomes visitors. Around 1900, the town was nicknamed the Hellhole of the Pacific and the Port of Missing Men for its frontier-era vice and unsolved murders. Meth and fentanyl define the modern crime mix. The sign says "Come As You Are." The town means it. Number 2. Sauk Village, population 9,921. The violent crime rate is roughly 13 per 1,000. Top 5 nationally for towns under 15,000. Murder rate among the highest per capita in the US for a village this size. In 2013, a vinyl chloride contamination scandal poisoned the municipal water. Factory closures hollowed out the tax base. Named for the Sauk Trail, a Native American trade route that became the original path from Detroit to Chicago. 74% black. 30 miles south of Chicago. The gangs spill south. The resources do not spill with them. Number 1. Bessemer, population 25,079. Violent crime rate 23.57 per 1,000, roughly 6.2 times the national average. Property crime 78.92 per 1,000. Murder rate roughly 44 per 100,000. One of the highest motor vehicle theft rates in the entire United States. Named after Henry Bessemer, the man who invented the steel-making process that built industrial America. The steel left, the name stayed. Median household income $32,000. Poverty, 30%. 15 miles from Birmingham, a town named after the invention of steel, destroyed by the disappearance of steel. That is not irony. That is America. Every one of these towns was built around something. Steel, coal, paper, copper, cotton, timber, nylon, sugar, nickel, or a highway that promised connection. When the thing left, the town did not leave with it. The people stayed. The poverty arrived, and the crime followed the poverty the way water follows gravity. Small town America is not dangerous because small towns are broken. It is dangerous because the economy that built them moved on and forgot to take them along. Drop a comment with the town that shocked you the most. Subscribe because we have more lists coming that will change how you think about where you live. See you in the next one.